drop a beat.
This is how
it starts. Y'all didn't know I have a DJ name on the weekends?
We drop a different beat.
All right, it is time for the Funcast Blast.
Ooh, Funcast Blast. Funcast Blast. Pew. Pew, pew, pew.
Funcast Blast. Funcast Blast. Pew. Pew, pew.
Today we won't chew into the mics this time.
Is that a better one?
That was awesome.
What's up, fanatics? Welcome to a special episode of the Funko Funcast. This is your host, Sully.
You got Matt here from licensing.
It's Ashley from work.
And we're joined by a special guest.
Somebody that really shouldn't be here, Sir Mix-a-Lot, stealing everything.
Nice. Yes, the Sir Mix-a-Lot has graced us by visiting Funko HQ, and we're excited to have a little getting to know episode with you. It's thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's good to be here, and I'm tripping off all this stuff around here. Like bringing back my childhood. I didn't think you had anything, old enough for old like me, but you did. So that's good.
Well, I mean, I think that's a good place to start. This was your first trip to Funko
Being
HQ.
an old bastard.
No. What did you think about the store? This was your first trip, right?
I love it. I'm blown away by people lined up outside, to come in and just see all this stuff. And the stuff is cool. It's incredible. I mean, this is like a craze that won't stop.
Yeah. Did you see anything downstairs that really brought back those childhood memories?
All kind of weird, like stuff you wouldn't think. Like I was not an Aquaman fan, but I saw Aquaman somewhere down here. I was not a Batman fan. I'm a Superman guy. Not a lot of Superman. You guys got to work on that. We need more S's on the chest.
There we go.
Noted.
Superman could not be beat. That's what I liked about him. Unless you had some kryptonite.
We our business is very cyclical, so we'll have a character for a while, and then we'll not have it for a while, and then it'll be back. So we timed it wrong. We should have had Superman waiting.
That's Superman waiting for me.
Next time.
Yeah,
Next time
that's a miss on my part.
Well, something that we like to do on the Funko Funcast as part of our Getting to Know series is what we call an origin story. Mm-hmm. So we're hoping you could just walk us through and tell us a little bit about how you came to your music career and what you're doing now.
Well, I'll try to make it as quick as possible. Because, back in the, in the 70s and stuff, just a kid, music was around me, but I never thought of doing music. I just listened to it. I mean, my dad was into like Southern jazz, Crusaders, Eddie Harris, that kind of stuff. My brother was into kind of rock and soul at the same time, James Brown, but then Peter Frampton. He knew Jimi Hendrix kind of personally, kind of met him and stuff. And, my brother's 14 years older than me, so he knew a lot of Bruce Lee, guys like that. So, and my mom was into the blues, right? So obviously I'm listening to all that, and I came up with P-Funk. That was my generation stuff. So Parliament Funkadelic, Bootsy Collins. And I never really thought about doing music until one day, a little channel called MTV started, and I saw this group called Kraftwerk playing live. No drums, no bass, no guitar, no horns. Everything looked computer-based and tiny, like the size of your wallet. And I knew right then, I can do that because I don't need a band, right? So that's what got me into music. And then I started, getting little odds and ends jobs, buying drum machines if I could afford them, and started learning how to program drum machines from scratch. I mean, I bought an old 16-track, 2-inch tape machine. Those things were like, 25, 30 grand, but it was broken. So they thought. So I got it for like $280. It was just sitting in somebody's basement. I got some heads put on it. It took me 3 years. It's not like I went home and had all the parts, but it took me 3 years to get it, then learn how to align the heads and all that stuff. And because I've always been into electronics and still am. And I got that thing working, and that's how I recorded my first 2 albums.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yep.
So if you hadn't found that for $280,
yeah, probably you wouldn't be you'd be talking to me, but I'd probably be sweeping the place. So, yeah.
Well, I know I grew up and I got to know Baby Got Back.
Yeah,
that was where I first heard of you.
It's kind of weird because Baby Got Back is one of those things I learned this early. You want people to know about Posse on Broadway and Beepers and My Hoopty and all that, but when you push too hard that way, the Baby Got Back fan was like, okay, well, you don't want me to like you, right? So I've learned, shut up, let people like what they like, and remember the time when nobody knew who you were. And you learn to become a little more humble about it. So, if you like Baby Got Back, I do a 10-minute version live, where a lot of artists try to not do their biggest
We got
hits.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
That might cost you a couple bucks.
Yeah.
It's Funko Pop. You can afford it.
Yeah.
Well, I always tell. So I went to O'Day High School. So I grew up north, but I bust down to O'Day, and I remember my senior year, we had community service around lunchtime, and me and my buddies, we would skip community service. How dare we? And we just rolled down Broadway and put on Posse on Broadway, and we'd end up at Dick's, of course, as everybody did. So I have very fond memories of that song.
Yeah, Posse on Broadway was really. I did that song literally. Me, Kid Sensation, just sitting in a room, and we just turned on a drum machine and said, "Let's just make some goofy stuff about the street we like to." Yeah. We just go to every Friday night, act like we can pull chicks in a '69 Buick. Didn't work out too well, but. You know, we acted like it and did a song about it, and it hit. You never know, you know. Baby Got Back wasn't supposed to hit either. It was going to be a serious song.
Really?
And, yeah, it ended up being a fun song, but it was supposed to be pretty serious. And I still left some of those words in the track, but it's not applicable today. Knock on wood, which is a good thing. Yeah. But back then it was, and so the song was going to be serious. And Rick Rubin kind of, the genius that he is, he knew that. Yeah, this ain't gonna hit if it's serious. You can get the message across, but slip it in there. By the time they knew, you know, it was at triple platinum almost. So we're gonna ban you now. I'm like, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, and that's funny. I remember, and I know I'm jumping subjects a little bit, but I remember the day that we were banned from MTV. They say they didn't ban me. They moved it after 9 p.m. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I was number one in the nation. I was number one on their charts, and so they didn't. You know, they couldn't have that. Because Cosmopolitan and people that I dissed were about it. But when I got dumped from MTV, I thought my career was over. And I remember talking to Heidi Robinson, who worked for Rick Rubin, and she said something to me that I never will forget. She said, Mix, today you're on the Ed Sullivan Show and you shook your leg one too many times. And I immediately knew what she was talking about, right? So I was like, okay, yeah, ban me. That'll be good. Forbidden fruit. People love that stuff.
It just took you up to a whole other level, didn't it?
It did. It got bigger.
Yeah.
And I mean, we went on Arsenio and talked about how we were banned and how the gigantic butt we have was shot down on Sunset Boulevard. In retrospect, I kind of understand that one. You know, you're objectifying women. What? It's just a big naked butt.
I will say that music video is one that always sticks out to me amongst, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get what I wanted in that video. They wanted the girls that dance every day, but the butts weren't the kind of butts I was talking about. But, oh well. You know, you got it. The label's paying for it, right? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You got Nicki Minaj sampling it, 5-6 years ago?
Yeah, that's a good thing. She's a beast in the studio, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I always wonder when I talk to other artists and I see what they're actually blessed with, I always wonder why, I'm not going to say she doesn't know, but it seems like they don't know it. Like, and I do the same thing. People tell me, dude, why don't you talk about, like, I don't show up at a studio and somebody records me. You know, I mix, master, everything. I got so much gear stacked to the ceiling because I'm a gear nut, but I don't talk about it. And I guess I do the same thing. But to hear her in the studio, she was in charge. There was nobody telling Nicki, sit down, say this. No, she's a beast in the studio, at least from what I heard on being on the phone.
She had a vision and made it happen.
She knew what she wanted. I was trying to talk her into other stuff. Nope.
Yeah.
It's not what I want. I need the scratching part here. I need this. I need that. I'm like, okay. And you take the song and do what you want to do with it. Mangle it. Have fun.
I'm just curious. You know, I work on all our music licensing here. Like, what are you listening to now? Like, what do you feel like the current state of like hip hop music is right now? I'm just curious.
Unlike most cats my age, I'm not get off my lawn. I'm not in that mode at all. I like where hip hop is at. I predicted what's going on in hip hop. I predicted. You ask anybody that knows me, they'll tell you probably 10 years ago when I heard dubstep, right? And then at the time while dubstep was happening, chop and screw was happening in hip hop. And I said, somebody's going to realize if you take dubstep, which is usually, it's 140 BPMs, but you chop it in half, it's 70. All chop and screw songs were around 70 BPMs. All of a sudden, that gave birth to trap. And some people hate trap, but I love it. I love it. I love the 808 moving around and people and kids are using the technology that's available today. Whereas some old farts, why don't you go back to playing acoustic guitar? Please. I never played an acoustic guitar. Neither did you. Quit telling these kids to do it. You know, so I mean I love where hip hop is and I love the fact that that some of these young cats understand licensing and understand, you know, owning your publishing. Not just owning it and sitting on it, but owning it and leveraging it. That's the point in owning it. And there's nothing wrong with monetizing that.
It's so funny when we walked into the store, we gave you the tour, and I heard you instantly hone in on the licensing portion of it. And I had been working here for a couple years and was at a con before I realized that is what makes all this move.
Yes.
Without the licensing.
And I know that process from the other side. And I'm just looking at some people that, I'm not saying any names, that I know or knew. And I'm like, how the hell they pull that off? That dude's an a-hole, you know what I mean? But they did it. You guys did it. I'm blown away because I've been a little hard to deal with sometimes, but I've realized that, I did a deal with 7-Up years ago, and I was getting all tough guy with him, and I realized, this 7-Up, dude.
Yeah.
You're going to get paid. Just, you got to do something they want, but you don't want to do anything. I want all your money, but I'm not going to do anything for it. That doesn't work.
Yeah, several have tried and failed, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll just start calling you for licensing advice because I can definitely use it, especially on the music side. But yeah, I mean, I think, we've done a lot of nostalgia-driven music, and it's definitely a lot easier than current talent. I mean, current talent, especially who's on top of the world, they want to leverage that. And so, again, I always tell people, we're not going to make you any more rich than you already are.
Right.
But, it's a nice compliment, and we do believe that being immortalized as a Funko Pop, means something.
Yeah, and, it took me a long time to really understand that, to be honest with you. Everything for me, when I'm young, and I'm on top of the world, everything for me meant, I need a check. But I found that in some of my other dealings, it always leverages, it turns into something else down the road. You know how many deals I've got from brands that come to me, like, I did a deal with Target years ago. Mm-hmm. The very next deal I did, someone from that deal knew the lady that cut the deal at Target, and the first thing this guy said to me was, she said you were easy to work with and you turned over the masters quick. When you needed to redo a master, you could do it. You didn't have to call an engineer, and you own your publishing. So I realized that how you deal with a brand is not just you dealing with that brand. It's not a snapshot. They will talk to other brands. And so I've been able to kind of leverage that for probably going on almost 30 years now.
And those relationships, you just don't know when somebody you deal with where they're going to end up down the road, and you don't want to burn those bridges before they're ever built.
Like I have one brand I'm dealing with now. I can't tell you. It's a large TV network.
Oh, all right.
And it really pissed me off yesterday.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, they said something really foul on my text, but when I'm looking at the money they're paying me, so we're going to have a nice argument today just to make sure, but I'm still going to go forward and finish the stuff. But yeah, sometimes the brands can be actually harder than the artists sometimes because they're used to getting their way. So, but we'll see.
Throw their weight around a little bit.
Yeah, and you got to be willing to walk too. And if it's not right, you got to be willing to say, well, if this is where we're at, then okay, adios, because that reputation also follows you.
Yeah.
He might have asked for $200,000. We gave him 20. You know what I mean? And if that goes around, then everybody starts to use that against you also. So it's a balancing act, man.
Well, I'm going to transition a little bit. One of the things that has been our motto here at Funko for the last couple of years is everyone is a fan of something. All of our fans, they'll come to us whether or not they're into Batman or Superman, and that's always been their thing. Or we'll have fans that come to us who just found out we make Golden Girls pops.
Yeah.
And that was their entry into Funko. What are you a fan of? I know we asked about the things you saw downstairs, but there are some fandoms from your childhood or recently that you'd like to see.
I'm tripping out just walking around seeing. I didn't know how much I remembered about cereal, cartoon characters selling me cereal in the morning. I'm sitting there, I'm back in the back thinking, Frosted Lucky Charms, they're magically delicious. Why do I remember that? You know what I mean? I never wrote that down.
That's why we're all hooked on sugar. It's because of that.
Exactly. Captain Crunch didn't even have a song, but I remember all of those things too. So I'm not really into the Marvel guys. Nah, give me Superman. Give me the traditional badass. Come down and just. Although I do get a little sick of how they take Superman out of stuff for a long time. Because how is she going to justify it, right? You can't justify him not being there unless Batman somehow put kryptonite in his heart and buried him for a year. Stupid stuff like that because he would just beat the hell out of everybody.
Yeah, if they would have called in Superman for Endgame, that would have been over in no time. It would have been a short movie.
Yeah.
Who was your Superman? Like, if you think Superman, who's the actor that portrayed him that you always think of?
Ooh, tell you the truth, I'd never liked one.
Oh, really?
Really, because they all kind of... I don't know why they make Superman. He's always so. You ever notice in the last two, his hair never messed up?
Yeah.
I mean, he just got through whooping a monster that was like 47 feet tall with a shield and horns, and didn't even sweat.
Hair perfect.
Hair was still perfect. Hit him with the laser beams out of his eyes.
That's one
no
of his
smoke.
powers. He does
Eyelashes
not
still
sweat.
intact. Yeah, you don't sweat, man. It's like got super eyelashes. I used to shoot laser beams out, and your eyelashes don't burn. I thought that would have been a nice thing to put in it, but I'm really into the Superman stuff, man.
Did you grow up with the comics? Were you a comic book reader as a kid?
Now, I wasn't a comic book reader because I watched the cartoons.
There you go.
So Saturday morning used to be, you'd get up, and I knew I'd watch them all in a row. I knew that what was it? Was it the Legion of something? I don't know what they were, but they were like the bad guys that hated, and Solomon Grundy and all those guys. Me gonna get them super friends. I remember all that stuff,
Nice.
man. Yeah, I remember all those guys, and I just wanted them to get kicked every time I saw them. But I wanted them to come back next week. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I watched the cartoons that my kids grew up with. I just feel bad for them. It's just not. It's definitely not the same.
Cartoons now are so
Yes.
PC.
Yeah.
Back then, we were talking about
Now
that.
you're talking about Looney Tunes.
Now I'm a big fan of Looney Tunes. To me, Looney Tunes, and I still watch Looney Tunes because it comes on some of these like older, they play older cartoons, some of
Right.
the Cartoon Network stuff, and they let it fly late at night. And so some of the stuff they did, I didn't realize how crazy it was, but like Foghorn Leghorn, and there's these two other little roosters that talk country and borderline say some foul stuff too.
Yep.
I forget, dude. That's not cool. But I don't know why it's not cool.
Right.
But it's not cool. But I love Foghorn Leghorn, Bugs Bunny. Smacking cats with bricks trying to win the chick. You can't do that now.
Yeah.
It has to be. And they got a new Bugs Bunny, but it's this dude, that fake New York accent is not.
Not my bugs.
Called out.
Not the Bugs Bunny we all know and love.
Not my Bugs Bunny.
We'll get that trending tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, you saw downstairs, you saw how many fans were in line. You mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
You saw how many people were buying stuff, headed up to our registers. They're all big-time collectors.
Yeah.
Is there something that you collect?
Nah. If you guys had studio gear, oh yeah,
There you go.
I'd back up a dump truck. No, so I'm a gearhead. I have CNC machines, and I just buy them because I'm curious. I bought a
them
water
apart?
jet machine. No, I bought it brand new, and I actually make stuff with it. I do that. I don't ever want to stop using my hands. I have no respect for entertainers who just sit there and wait for checks, get their nails done. Nah, I get my hands dirty, daily. And like I said, I still do the music stuff, and I love it, but I'm passionate about. I had to kind of reinvigorate myself because for a while all I did was tour and do other music stuff, and I got bored. So I still tour because you got to kind of stay out there a little bit. But when I come home, I'm not thinking about touring. I do music, I produce it, but I'm in the shop. I had a 2,000 square foot shop behind my house.
Wow.
And I go back there and cut up stuff and make amplifiers, RF amplifiers.
Have you recorded a whole bunch of stuff we've never heard before?
Yes.
Is there a bunch in the library, in the vault?
Oh, yeah. I probably got 50 or 60 songs nobody's ever heard.
Wow.
And it's funny because people hear me like, what's the problem?
Yeah.
But I never did music to be famous. But when people do music to be famous, they have a tendency to make corny songs that are contrived. And I don't want that. So I do what I feel. And if what I feel happens to be accessible, then I put it out.
I recently watched An Evening with Kevin Smith, and he talked about he did this project with Prince, where he went in and filmed basically fan reaction to one of his songs, and then he filmed this whole thing over the course of weeks, and then they told him at the end, you'll probably never see this go anywhere. He just records this stuff and puts it in a vault, along with all these unreleased albums that he has.
Yeah, one thing I learned from Prince, and although he went a little too far with it, is protecting your image. I used to think that was kind of arrogant, but now in retrospect, like I'll get people that will do. I was doing interviews with a lot of people. One of them was Vlad TV, right? I didn't know this interview was going to be that big, and they asked me how much money I thought Baby Got Back generated, not personally made, because I know the IRS is freaking out when
they're watching.
But when I said it, I sat there and watched how much he was able to monetize that, a million times over. I didn't get a dime from it. So I've kind of learned, not that I don't do interviews, but I try to not limit how the interview is used, but it was video. That's what made it powerful, right?
Yeah.
But I don't have that same interview in my own space. So I got to start doing that myself. But my problem is I think I'm too modest sometimes. And I think, nobody wants to hear that stuff. And then he takes it and, pocketed some coin. He admitted it, so he's cool. But I love Vlad TV. I still watch all the interviews, but now I'm a little more careful about how I leverage my brand or not.
Do you have your own YouTube channel?
Yeah, I do. I just don't use it. Same thing. I don't. Yeah. Anybody knows me will tell you. And I guess I got to figure out a way to use social media and not let it be me.
Yeah.
Because that's just not how I was raised. And when I see some people post, here I am today. Oh, look at my girl's lipstick. Look at these jeans. I'm like,
have you been on my Instagram page?
I know I'm not supposed to cuss, but man, it's just like, come on, man, really?
Yeah.
And people like that. People like that. So you got a bunch of. I really want to one day, if I were to do something personal, it wouldn't be personal about me, but it'd be personal. I would really talk about plastic surgery. We need to have a conversation about plastic surgery because I'm trying to figure out what makes a girl with brains do it. It never ends well. It doesn't end well, man. I'm sorry, dude. Like, I'm fat. I lose weight, that'd be great. Okay, because that usually ends better, right? But plastic surgery, yeah, but I'm not going to say it because it's not like I'm dissing girls that had it.
Yeah.
But there's one in particular, I'm not going to say her name because I like her, but she won Most Beautiful Woman on Earth twice in a row. Then had plastic surgery and can't get a good movie part. Oh. Never ends well.
We'll have you back for a podcast just on plastic surgery.
Yeah, hot take.
Yeah, bring a plastic surgeon with you.
You could use
absolutely.
your social platforms as a PSA.
Yeah,
Just that.
exactly.
Public service announcement. Don't do this.
Exactly.
Yeah, social media is funny. I mean, I have Instagram. I don't do Facebook, but I don't know. It's tough. I have 3 kids now who are kind of coming up in this social media time, and I don't know. I worry.
I hate the first world problems, admittedly, but I go to Safeway. I do it in the mornings. That's what I do. I go down. I got a taste for something. I go get some Eggo waffles, whatever I get. And, you're in some shoes, no socks, old sweatpants, and a T-shirt, and a guy wants to take a picture with you. And you kind of don't want to do it, but not for the reason he's thinking. That's just stuck up. And sure enough, what pops up on Instagram? Me in some sweats with ashy ankles. And you can't really control things unless you just say, not right now. And I have a hard time doing that. But I'm learning to.
And that can be perceived so differently from the fan that you say that to, who might blow it out of proportion.
Right. So, he's stuck up. No, you actually looked like hell that day. You know what I mean? But many times I don't care, but then sometimes it's like, today is not the day.
Today.
Yeah. Because like when they said we're doing a podcast, I'm like, oh man, I didn't shave. But now this is audio, so.
I mean, for the record, you look fantastic today.
Oh, I look great. Yeah,
it was a nice touch.
I look great, especially those listening.
Tuxedo was definitely not necessary.
Yeah, I lost 40 pounds. Perfect. I'll gain it back when I leave.
No, I obviously, we were talking sports. Again, we were talking about the Sonics. I'm curious, kind of your take on like the NHL coming to Seattle, and are you excited for that? You think that'll be kind of some leverage to obviously bring in a team when it's time, of course?
That's exactly what I think. I think I'm not an NHL guy,
Sure.
but that arena is, whew, you know what I mean? And I do think it just opens the door for another basketball team. How does Memphis have a team they don't even want? You know what I mean?
I'll take Ja Morant.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take. You know what? And we can afford them. I mean, like I said, what's median income at just at Amazon alone is like $150K. Come on, we got the bread. We can support this.
Yeah.
So bring it on up here. We can do this. We need a team. Again, I don't know how we lost them in the first place. I still didn't understand that.
Yeah.
Didn't understand it. Still doesn't make sense. But
I hear that from all the Seattle fans. It was a very confusing time.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, when I was working there, Clay Bennett was coming to some of our functions, and my friends would say, hey, why don't you give him a piece of your mind? I'm like, because he's signing my paychecks right now.
Clay Bennett, very interesting. I remember when he bought the Sonics, there's no lie. I was on tour, and he was on the radio in Oklahoma City. He didn't say anything controversial.
Sure.
But when he left, the DJs were talking about him almost as if, congratulations, about time. I'm like, what are they talking about? And I found out they ended up in Oklahoma City. So I'm like, wow, that was a plan from day one. Everybody he hired when he got here, right? All of his assistants, all from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, he was planning that.
Yeah, there's a plan.
I'm not mad at him. I'm really mad at Howard Schultz a little bit.
We all are.
We all
No, like I was going to walk
we
in and
all
bite a
are.
tea.
We drink Starbucks every day
Yeah.
because it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, can I get a venti
I
iced tea,
boycotted
by the way?
that for about a week.
I felt required to do so as soon as I moved here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Daily. You got to go stop in a
Yeah,
Starbucks.
Exactly.
Go to Starbucks.
Well, we won't keep you much longer, but we've done 150 plus episodes of our podcast so far, and we get emails from fans all the time, and they send these we'll call them silly questions that we get, and I'd like to, if I could, ask you a few of those to see what your opinion on them are. One is often debated: does pineapple belong on pizza?
Hell no.
Yes.
Thank you.
That is nasty, man. That's like little kids' food.
Oh, that's the best quote
That's
so
the
far
best
about
answer, yeah.
it. Where was the best hamburger you ever had?
Man.
Can you tell we talk a lot about food?
Man, that's the best one. It was in Houston, Texas. And it was, my mom's from Houston too, right? So I remember because it was hamburger and smoked brisket chopped into it and sharp. Not those of you who eat American cheese should be strung up and beaten, okay? No American cheese.
I love this, man.
Sharp cheddar cheese, 2 slices melted on that smoked brisket. Oh my God. And some Texas toast.
Sully
Lord
looks
have mercy.
excited
We,
right
That
okay,
should have
we
been
have,
a
we have a
jaw
few,
literally
we have a few
dropped.
Houston transplants.
I'm from
the
Houston,
room
and
here.
so is Kayla, our photographer.
Oh, okay.
that
My
sounds
mom
like
was born in
Twinkies.
Houston and raised in Eagle Lake, Texas.
Eagle, all right.
Yeah.
Nice. Look at that. See, there's always a connection to Texas.
Always.
Always. Yeah.
It's not a large state
I love
or anything.
Texas.
That sounds like a place called Tookie's. They used to
I
have
can't
that.
remember.
They had a burger with bacon also mixed into the meat. And it
Yep.
was just, so good.
They can cook it down there. I mean, I also waited in line at Franklin's at 5
yeah?
o'clock in the morning and got some of that brisket. I'm like, okay, I see what they're talking
Worth
about.
it.
Yes, you don't even need a knife. You can take a fork, chop, and leave the fat on it.
Yes.
These people in Seattle, can I get mine lean, please? You're eating brisket, fool. It ain't good for you. leave the fat
Have
on
you
it.
found a good barbecue joint, like in the greater Seattle area?
I haven't had it. I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
Sure.
I haven't been there yet, but those of y'all who slice the brisket before the customer gets there, that's your problem. Don't slice the brisket until I get there because it'll dry out.
Cardinal
It's a
sin.
muscle. It's a muscle meat. Ain't gonna be good. You can do that with prime rib, not brisket.
If you find that good barbecue, could you please report back?
Yeah, well, don't wait up.
He'll call us from Texas.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
found it.
Exactly.
What is your favorite fast food burger place?
Wendy's,
Oh, yeah. What do you get at Wendy's?
big double. Yeah, no cheese because I hate American cheese. I go home and put cheddar on it, switch it over to some wheat bread, and that's it.
I wouldn't
Nice.
want to be too. Is it a juicy double?
Oh, the big, I don't want the little stack thing.
Yeah.
I got one of those by accident. I thought stack meant big. I said, I want the double stack. I said, what the hell is this? What is Wendy's
It's a
turning
slider.
into?
Yeah, it's a slider.
It's a slider.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I went to McDonald's too. We went again when they said that we make them to order. No, they still had the steamer. They were still pulling old meat out of the steamer. That thing was like, I threw it down and the crows, they were like, what the hell is this?
The crows wouldn't touch it.
Nah, man. So no, Wendy's, not that I'm super Wendy's fan, but you said fast food, so.
Yeah.
By the way, this is a complete segue, but have you guys been watching McMillions on HBO?
Yes.
Yet. I want to.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yes, I recorded it and watched. I watch it when I go to bed. That's what I do. I catch up on television.
Where were we when that happened?
Buying those things like a fool and not winning.
Yeah.
I don't even remember it.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that. I remember all the McDonald's games.
No, I remember the game. I don't remember the scandal.
You know what what's this, the weirdest thing about it? And it's way off topic too, but mob wives don't age well.
It's the plastic
Oh
surgery.
my goodness! Wow.
They need the
We're back to the
plastic
PSA.
surgery.
And what
You
my
see-
thing is, you're still trying. You're sitting on the table. You're built like Jabba the Hutt, and you got all these and you're doing this like I'm so beautiful. I'm like, no, get the memo in.
I feel like there's the base for a song here somewhere.
Yeah, I
It's,
think
he's written it. It's
Yeah.
one of the 50 or 60 that we'll never hear.
There you
It's
go.
called Mob Wives.
Put that out on YouTube, please. We
Nah,
would love to hear
that'll
Mob
get me in
Wives.
trouble.
All right, just a couple more. One, I know you saw downstairs what we have. You probably don't know our catalog, but if there was a certain figure we could make, any one character or movie star or musician that you could have as a pop on your desk, what would it be?
You guys have already done everything.
We've done a lot.
And you probably done this, but I got to have it. Godzilla.
Ah, all right.
I am a Godzilla fanatic.
Did you see the
we didn't take him over to that area.
Giant Godzilla statue down
There
there.
you
Bring
go.
him back.
I knew it. I knew you guys. See, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
We got to get him over there.
But I don't know if Godzilla could have the Funko Pop head. That might not work because he's
works.
too little top heavy. He might tip over the little arms.
That works.
You know?
That works. No, yeah, we have a huge statue downstairs. Good photo op.
Yeah, you got to get a King Kong and Godzilla. Got to have both of those.
We might be able to help you with that at some point.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then one final thing, we do a giveaway each week to encourage listeners to come in and check out the Funcast, and we ask our guests to include their favorite emoji so that when people tweet about this, they'll include that emoji. We know they listen to the podcast. Do you have a favorite emoji that would be family friendly?
We asked the hard-hitting questions there.
Mine is not family friendly, but it's an emoji.
All right, fair enough.
The middle finger. I use it all the time.
Dig it.
We
We
is
will
in
we will
there.
also accept the index finger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pointer.
if you want to keep it G-rated, we know what you mean. Yeah.
Finger next to the index.
Awesome. Well, that's all I have. Is there anything you wanted to share with us that we didn't ask about?
Nah, I'm good, man.
Yeah?
I'm
When can
good,
we
yeah.
see you perform?
Let's see. When am I performing in Seattle again? Probably not till around July.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta do some running down to Texas and Louisiana and Mississippi and Florida.
Go visit Franklin's
I
again.
saw you perform, I don't remember, it was 94, 95. I think the Return of the Bumpasaurus album had just come out. So that was the last time I saw you. So it's been a little bit.
You know, it's funny for me, man. I went on a tour last year. It was very profitable, but it was opening like it was 4 or 5 acts, this 90s thing or Hammer thing, and that felt weird because I was doing 20-minute sets. And I know some people go, well, you get paid the same money. Yeah, but if you love what you do and you want the fans to love it, you feel weird. You feel like you cheated them, especially if they came to see one of the acts that opened. They're like, well, damn, you only did 3 songs, but that's all you had time for.
Yeah.
So I think this time I'm going out and I'm going to do some – I love club gigs. I know sometimes you dilute your value by playing them, but ain't nothing like a hot, sweaty club full of drunk folks. Yeah, love
Perfect
it.
closing statement. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Don't
We really
drink,
appreciate
children.
it. Wait. Before you go, there's more. That was an amazing opportunity to podcast with Sir Mix-a-Lot. I still can't believe I get to say those words. It feels like a dream come true, a dream I didn't know I had until it happened. He was an amazing guest. It was a lot of fun. But there were a few things we did skip out on because we didn't want to take up too much of his time. You guys, you love your giveaways. I know I do. So we're not going to forget you this week. Going back to episode 136, Getting to Know Somali, you guys shared it. You loved it. You commented on it. We really appreciate those interactions. And we didn't want to forget you. So I did go and pick winners from our last giveaway. So on Twitter, our winner of our Social Media Freddy 2.0, a.k.a. Phone, a.k.a. Sassy Boy, and a mystery prize is Laz Aguayo. Laz, we've already sent you a DM. Just follow the instructions to claim your prize. Over on SoundCloud, a Social Media Freddy 2.0, a.k.a. Phone, a.k.a. Sassy Boy, and a Funcast t-shirt goes to Escape the Soul. We sent you a DM, Escape the Soul, on SoundCloud so that you can claim your prize. And finally, over on YouTube, we do have a mystery prize pack going to one R.C. Meyer. Now, R.C., we can't send you a DM on YouTube because YouTube. That's how they do. So if you would please send us an email to prizes@funko.com with your first and last name, full mailing address. We will work on getting your prize out to you. We also have a new giveaway this week. You guys who were paying attention, you heard Sir Mix-a-Lot share his favorite emoji, which may not be family-oriented, but we did give you a backup option as well in case you don't feel comfortable sharing that. So if you want to win a prize this week, they're going to be just like before. On Twitter, we're going to have a Social Media Freddy 2.0 and a mystery prize to one lucky winner who takes the time to share the Funcast on Twitter. And the rules for sharing the Funcast on Twitter are as follows. Simply share on Twitter a tweet telling people why you think they should listen to the Funcast. share a link to where you listen to it, whether that was SoundCloud or iTunes or Google Play, our website, wherever, so that people can simply click on it and find the Funcast. Be sure to include the hashtag FunkoFuncast. That's FUNKOFUNKAST. And don't forget that emoji. If you do all 4 of those things, you're entered to win. Have fun with it. We love seeing your tweets. We appreciate the tweets. Get those out there. On SoundCloud, if you'd like to win a Social Media Freddy 2.0 and a Funcast t-shirt, simply leave a single comment or as many comments as you'd like under the episode 137 with Sir Mix-a-Lot there on SoundCloud. Just leave a comment. That's all you got to do. It's so simple. And then finally on YouTube, if you'd like to win a mystery prize pack like R.C. Meyer did for 136, simply leave a comment under the YouTube video of this episode. So on YouTube, look for 137 with Sir Mix-a-Lot and simply leave a comment below. It is that easy. We look forward to seeing your guys' comments. It's always fun. This next week, we've got some important announcements coming up. You guys will have seen that we'll have an Emerald City Comic Con pre-party on the Wednesday before Emerald City Comic Con. All the details for that will be shared over on the Emerald City Comic Con official site through ReedPop and instructions on how to enter. So be sure to follow those instructions for a chance to get a ticket to that party on the Wednesday night before Emerald City Comic Con. And then be on the lookout for Toy Fair New York, which will begin this Saturday. But on Friday, you'll actually see all the awesome reveals that we have for you before the show begins. Look out for a live on Friday night. If all goes according to plan, we'll be in New York, and we'll have a live broadcast from the booth to show you as much as we can. And then, of course, be on the lookout for giveaways and fun reveals all through the weekend during Toy Fair New York. Until next episode, if you guys have any questions, feel free to email them in to podcast@funko.com, not a customer service channel. We would love to get your questions so that we can fill our box for the Funcast Blast, but also answer any of those long-form questions as part of our content for episode 138 and 139. Until next time, this is Sully signing out saying, Nerds Unite.
Frosted Lucky Charms, they're magically delicious.